Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Good morning, good night, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We are looking at a few different coins here. We are in MELANIA, we're in Trump. We also are looking at a few other coins that we've been in often, and Cuba is also doing really well for us right now. Pushing to the top end of our range, earning a lot of fees. Good morning, Alpha Hotel, UK London in the house. Welcome, welcome. Opinions on the price action of MELANIA. It's interesting. I think that we'll probably see somewhat of a bounce back up. You can see my buys and sells on MELANIA here. We did pretty good on it. Luke, what's up, man? Good morning. VS, up or down? For what token? Yeah, we found a good range. You can see we bought in right here on Cuba around the 12.5 million market cap. I saw it picking up steam and looking like it was going to do a little bit of a flip, but I actually bought it a little high. I probably should have waited for the dip, but we got in at a good spot, and it came down a little bit and then coming up. But you can see we're earning over 500% on the 24-hour fees. So I initially put like, I think it was roughly 4,500 into this. And so we've earned $1,000 in fees, and then obviously it's gone up in value as well, which, as it fluctuates, that'll change. But we're going to sit in that. We're also in Baron, which you can see we bought here, and it's down a little bit. It is starting to reach a zone here where it looks like the sales are starting to slow. Also, the RSI number is fairly low. So I think we'll start to potentially see a reversal here on Baron, which is good because we're on the bottom side of our range on Baron. Also earning really, really good fees on it, though, which you can see here. Yeah, we're earning 750% on Baron. Obviously, like I said, it's down a little bit, but I think we'll see. I don't know how long it'll be. It might come down a little bit more, honestly, before it comes back up. But I think we're still in a good spot for our range. Kind of what I'm looking at on the chart here. Where did they? Oh, it's right here. Though. This is kind of the support that it's at. Technically, there's one here well at like 35. Right here. But I think I would like it to bounce off this 42 million market cap range. It's at 46 now. That's kind of the bottom of where I'd like it to be. I might let it go a little bit lower on it before I would close out of it, because you can see here I still have a little bit of room for it to go down as far as staying in range and earning a lot of fees. Even though the fees are really, really good, if it just like dumps, then the fees aren't going to make up for it. But if we can have it at least just stay around where it is or have more upward price motion, then it'll probably be pretty good for us. Let's go back to Cuba. Let's see. Good morning, folks. Good morning, El Creator AI. Salami 22, Baron, a DLMM op. Do you mean like option? Like, is it a good option? I mean, it's definitely better to get in here than where I got in, but I would wait for it to start to bounce up. You see the MACD down here. It looks like it's starting to slow, but it still hasn't quite reached the point where it looks like they're going to cross. So it has a potential to go lower here. And the RSI is starting to look pretty good, but most people consider like 35 to be kind of the mark. And so I think it probably goes a tad bit lower here, probably just around or just below this line. which you can see it's just above it right now, before bouncing potentially. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, Cuba's now earning us over 600%. We're actually good if it wants to come down a little bit here before bouncing back up. The support levels that I'm looking at for it to potentially bounce off of are right here. Um, and it could come down to one of these as well, but this is the one I'd like it to. Either it could create a new support higher here or come and bounce off of this one. You can see on the MACD here, it is coming to a cross. So we are seeing a downward projection here. Even though it had already started, once these lines crossed, it actually shows like a more legitimate trends change. Instead of it just like having a small dip and coming back up, it's actually showing more of a full-blown complete trend change here. So we'll keep watching that though. Yeah, see Barron's dipping a little bit lower. You can see even though it started to slow, it started to pick back up again. That RSI indicator is now hitting 35. And I think it's going to be at the end of our range here. So this is good. A lot of times I show a bunch of wins. Oh wait, this is Cuba. A lot of wins on here. See, it just went out of range on this. So what I'll do, I'll close out Barron, and then it's good to see like how I take my losses, right? And so we're only down a little bit on this, like as far as percentage wise, we're maybe down 5 or 10% because of the fees that we earned and such. And so I'm going to close it here. This is the next support level, but you can see like the red here on the map is signifying an even bigger drop. And so if I don't see like a drastic change on this next candle here of it starting to go back the other direction, which it could do, then I'll just sell for a loss. But considering where the RSI is and considering this is a pretty big support here, I'd imagine it does bounce here. But, again, it's hard to know. If it does here, then we'll just keep holding. We've been buying Barron on the way down. And so we're at a loss. But because we closed out the pool here, as it moves up, instead of selling it on the way up, all the Barron that we bought on the way down will now be worth more if we hold it up here. And then we'll just sell a little bit higher. So it's kind of a mixed strategy of DLMMing and then watching it. But again, I'm just going to keep watching it here. If I need to take the loss and sell, I will. Yeah. Cuba took a big dip there. Again, these are kind of the two supports I expected it to bounce off of before coming back up. Again, we're pretty up on Cuba. So like if it ends up coming down pretty hard here, we could always just sell and like get close to break even. But we'll see what it does. A lot of stuff's just super volatile today. A lot of coins that are lower market cap, that are newer coins, high volatility and stuff. It's hard to get a gauge on them because at any moment, like they could just swap and switch trends. We're also watching Melania. We have a pool set up for Melania. It does look like it's going to dip a little bit more potentially before it comes back up. The major support is where I bought at earlier yesterday right here. And so this would be the mark in which I would either sell or let it. I'm watching to see if it breaks below. Trump's been doing good. Trump's been ranging really, really well. You can see I have that set up as well. Let's see. Sorry, let me catch up on some of these questions. Which Trump pool you're in? I'm in the 125 5%, which honestly, you could be in a tighter pool based on what it's showing this chart because it's been ranging so well here. But I like to play it safe, and so that's why I'm in it like this, just below my entry point, which you can see is right here. It's just below. The price of Solana will also affect like the way this looks, like whether Solana goes up or down because this is a pair of sold Trump. But we've been earning pretty good on it. It's showing 9.65% here, which isn't bad. If you go for a tighter range, you'll be able to earn more. But kind of expecting Trump to move up today with the inauguration. Cuba bouncing really, really well off that support and coming back up. Look at Cuba. Cuba's absolutely printing for us. Yeah, 700% now, still at the top end of our range, over $1,000 in fees, and we only have 6K in liquidity. And we started with like 4,500. This is Ultra LP. These numbers are all off. Let me see if I can refresh it, if it'll get back on target. If I leave it up and I don't mess with it, and I'm like opening and closing pools at like thinks that I'm way down, even though I'm not, because it doesn't take into consideration. Here, let's just disconnect the wallet and reconnect it. It's also taking the price of Solana into consideration. Let me just hard refresh that site. It'll help us look at what we're currently at. Good morning. Good morning. Everything's going to when Elon tweets his coin, right? Do you know how to set up a private RPC for these extreme moments in Solana? Even using 25% slippage and 1% fix is just impossible. Like a private RPC, I mean, you could set one up like through QuickNode and stuff like that. I actually have one on here. They have free ones that you can do, but they're not going to be as good as the ones that you can just already use that are set up for the protocols you're using. Now, if you wanted to pay a lot, you could get one that might be better. How do you add the RSI? So to add any of the indicators, both the MACD and the RSI, you just come to the little FX, the function, and you would type in RSI and its relative strength index right here. And then same thing for MACD, you just type it in and then you just click on it and it pops up at the bottom. These are pretty much the only two that I use. And I also use, obviously, like when I'm looking at the different ranges, the supports and the resistance lines. And usually they coincide. You can see here, like Baron bounced off of this support here. And we can see that the lines are looking like they're starting to come together here. Sell pressure is lower. The RSI came all the way down to 33. So a lot of people are like, hey, this is a good buy. This is a good value where it's at here. And so it looks like it might bounce back up here. And then we'll wait to see if it's going to break above either one of these. The key one is this one here. If it comes up and comes back down, it's showing that it's still in a pretty strong downtrend. But if it can break above this, then it's going to show that it's probably starting to make its way back into an uptrend in which we'll start to see higher highs and higher lows. We'll just have to keep watching it to see. It'd be lovely to see a full tutorial on Good Morning, Good Night on your channel. Yeah, I think I did one on X. Obviously, I did a brief little thing chatting about it there and put my referral code in. Also found out that Good Morning, Good Night has an app, but it's in test flight right now. That's when I had Ashen on. I put out so many posts. I think that there was one that I put on my profile, but I'm not positive. Yeah, here you go. The ultimate weapon for traders and DLMMers. So this is a whole guide on it right here. I'll put it in the, I'll link it in both the YouTube. I don't know why I didn't put this video on YouTube. Let me post it in here. Baron's dipping. Man, right when it looked like it was about to cross, it dipped some more. Let's see. What about Grift? Yeah, I mean, I like Grift still long term. It's just that everything like Grift, ARC, a lot of these coins are down because the market went all the way to 295 on Sol and then came all the way down to like 240, 230, whatever it was before bouncing back up. And so a lot of these coins get sold off whenever Sol price is drastically moving right like that. But also with all the Trump stuff, with Trump, Melania, Baron, all this kind of stuff, they're sucking a lot of the liquidity. I mean, these are billion-dollar tokens. Trump's at 48 billion, Melania is at 7.7 billion, and they're doing 100 million on Melania on the 1 hour. $100 million is moving through this token every hour, and on Trump, 190 million, right? So like they're both doing ridiculous volume. And so because of that, like all the money is flowing through their tokens. And so because of that, a lot of these other tokens, they're just not. I'm still watching them. I still love them long term. It's just I'm not in them right now. I sold a lot of them to move out because I knew they'd go down in value. And then as I think they start to move up in value, as we see Sol start to pick up and some of the political Trump Melania type coins start to die off, then I think we'll see those pick back up again. But for now, they haven't. So still watching Cuba, still printing stupid good. Yeah, it looks like Barron's really was really struggling to get to the point where it finally swap and we'd see the trend back up. It still technically isn't there, but it's very close. These lines are almost crossing. They're basically right at the tip of the cross here, and so it'll be good to see them cross. It's bouncing off of the support, and so it's a good sign. But we'll keep holding the tokens as long as they stay within here, go up higher, and then look to try to sell them off at some point. Cuba dipping. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, you can see I got in over here. So like it's right where I got in at basically, which you can also see on here. See, it's actually just above where I got in at. We're still earning over 700%. And you can see the value on the liquidity is 5,900 now. And so as it pushes back up, obviously this will go up. We'll earn more fees, so on and so forth. If it were to dip down below this line here, then we would close it out as well. At this point, we've made enough in fees where even if it does dip, like we're still be up, which that can be seen on Ultra LP if I can get it to connect. I tried BullX bot and all failed as well. Yeah, I don't use BullX, but I've heard it does good. Good morning from Morocco. I enjoy your streams. Hey, Hattori. Good to see you again. Yeah, Trump will be inaugurated in 45 minutes. So I'm expecting things to maybe pop off. I don't know why Ultra LP maybe is just struggling to pull. Like it's obviously this isn't accurate, but it's also like even pulling up my pools and stuff like that. So I think just everything right now is struggling. So I just won't use it for now, I guess. A lot of congestion on chain. If my Cuba pool is out of range, what should I do? Depends what your goals are for it, what you expect it to do, what your risk tolerance is. Also, is it out of range on the top side or the bottom side? Hello from UK. Let's make some money. Hey, home office hustler. I like that name. How do you find a DLM that returns 600%? Well, you could easily find plenty of DLMs that earn 600%, but finding the good ones is the hard part. So under Good Morning, Good Night, you can just go to the trending tokens here. You go to 5 minute and you filter it by volume, and you can see 5 minute volume, which ones are the highest right now. You can see Trump, Melania, Fart Coin, all these different ones. There will usually be coins like this one, like Vin, like Bull, and sometimes these are legit, but usually when you look at these, you'll see that they're actually a scam. So you can see up here, it's a rug probability. You can see this looks super inorganic. So this is like a farm right here. So you wouldn't be interested in that one. And then this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar. Let's see. Oh no, this one actually looks much more organic. You can see DevBot here. It's going through. So I don't know anything about this one. This one could be an option that I don't see a Twitter linked. So that's not a good sign. Obviously it's also like majorly down. So I wouldn't look at that one, but you go through and you just look at some of these, the one we're on, Baron, different stuff like that. And then because they have high volume, when you deal with them, they'll have high returns. The thing is that you can also take impermanent loss. So you have to be careful when doing this, which is why I have like a plan to close out of certain pools once they reach certain ranges. Basically a stop loss for me. You can see that Baron, the RSI indicator, finally did cross and it's starting to move back up. So that's a good sign. So we'll just look for it to see how fast it moves up and to see if it'll break above this. That'll obviously be a good sign. It could come up and have a little bit of a dip before breaking above this. It doesn't have to just like only just explode through here, but we'll look for it to break above that to feel more confident in holding it more long term. Cuba's doing well, still ranging really well above our entry point. And it looks like the sell pressure on it is starting to slow as well. Could come down a little bit more again to this line before bouncing. So keep watching that. I went in. Can you drop that link, LP? The Ultra LP site, you have to sign up for it. It's not, it's in beta right now. And you can see why. I mean, it's struggling to pull up the pool for me right now. But it's an amazing site that shows your shows all of your profit and loss. It also uses based on like the SOL price It does it based on your fees, everything. So it shows you like a true profit and loss instantly live on all your different positions that you're open on. So that's really, really cool. Oh, Melania's dipping a good bit. Trump as well. So it's really good. You can sign up to try to get access to open beta. I get some codes every now and then that I'll share to give access to, but I only get so many. I literally get like 3 codes at a time or something like that, or 5. They're still stress testing it. Obviously, it wasn't working just now, but with everything congested, it's a new tool. But they're going to get it all together, optimize it and stuff like that, and we'll be able to check it out from there. So I went into a Trump one-sided with the Trump token, but went out of range, 125, 5%. Is it possible to add SOL to the pool I am in so that I'm still in range, or do I have to exit and make a new pool? You can add it, but it might look a little funky and there might be like a gap in it. And so you may want to just close it and make a new one, stage 0. Gen Z quant token going crazy on Moonshot, bullish. Cool, thanks, more money. May you write which indicators do you use for analysis? Yeah, I just typed that in just a little bit ago. What is the best parameter of Good Morning Good Night about snipers and blue chip? Manuel, I'm not exactly sure your question, but like when you look at the different coins, like let's look at ARK, for instance, you can see blue chip here is 4.9% and says basically the blue chip index is the ratio of holders who also own what's considered blue chip tokens. And so anything that's like 3, 4, 5% is considered really good. Like when you look at Fartcoin, this one's considered really good and it's at 5.3. You can see it's orange here. When it breaks above 5%, it turns, or sorry, yellow. And so you can see here, Grift 6%. So obviously that's a good sign. Yeah. Let's see. Do you sell through Good Morning Good Night or do you use Jupe? So the way that I do it is Good Morning Good Night takes a fee. Jupiter doesn't. And so for me, like Jupiter sometimes, like especially on tokens that are moving really fast, like these, like pretty much all of, not Green Arc, but like MELANIA, Trump, Cuba, Baron, all these ones that are like moving really fast. A lot of times the price is changing so much. And Jupe is really good at getting low cost and being really efficient with your trades. The problem is the same thing that allows it to do that also makes it slow down and bog down when there's lots of transactions going through. So like a lot of times I just can't get through stuff on here. And so anytime I'm in a coin that's new or has high volume, I'm like, I'm not worried about the 1%, right? Like the 1% is, or whatever the fee is on Good Morning Good Night. Like I'm not really worried about paying that because that 1% is nothing compared to how much I could make, like the difference between me buying in the token here or higher, right? Like, for instance, people weren't able to buy a Melania yesterday when it launched. But look, I literally bought all the way in down here at 2 billion market cap. And I bought in here at 4 and I sold it at 6. I bought in again at 5. I sold at 8. I bought in again up here. I bought in again down here, right? I sold here. Right. So like I was buying and selling and I was able to get these transactions through when other people weren't. And I made like, I don't know, I made a good amount off of all this. Right. Now we're still holding some. We don't have a ton, but we're still holding some here. And I might end up buying some more soon. We'll see if I think that it's hit a bottom. But I was able to do that. And so I was able to make way more than what the fee cost. So to me, it's worth it to use Good Morning Good Night to do the trading and stuff. Every trade bot has a fee anyway that you have to pay. And the ability to do it here on the same chart and everything, just all of this combined is why I love Good Morning Good Night. It's really, really good, which is why I use it in that way. Oh, Cuba's dipping. Y'all got me monologuing over here. See, this is not a great sign. You can see it's at the bottom support that I'm wanting it to be at. But you can see here on the MACD, it's still showing some pretty strong sell pressure, meaning it could drop below this. I'm not saying it will, but it could. And you can see here, it's now just below my entry point. I've earned a lot of fees. Like I'm still in profit where it's at. I don't want to let this go much lower. And so if this next candle that appears is equal, like, or pretty close, like still showing us some pretty strong sell pressure, if this closes out here, then I'll probably just end up closing this out and taking the profit. There is like right here is like the next big support, like slightly below where I was just at. And so if it was here, but you can see, look, these candles are looking like they're still pretty strong. The RSI is showing that it's at a good point where it could make a reversal if people like this price here. Um, so it's hard to tell. I'll probably hold it a little bit longer, honestly. Um, I'll probably let it come, yeah, right around the 10 million market cap range. That's the lowest I'll let it go. Again, the MACD is showing some pretty strong downward pressure here. So we'll need to see this next candle start to weaken here to show the reversal starting, which I think is probable, could happen. So we'll just have to watch. Baron looks like it's coming down to potentially break off this support again. Let me move MELANIA and Trump over here. MELANIA does look like it might be trying to make a reversal as well. You can see it's starting to weaken there. Might end up buying some of that. Trump kind of similarly looks like it might dip a little bit more. What's the mint address for Baron? You can just you may have already gotten it by now. You asked that on Twitter. Let me post it. This is the token address for Baron. BTC is dipping. Yeah, Trump and I causes flash crash thing we moon. Yeah, it's potential that a lot of stuff does crash. It's kind of the sell the news type thing, right? So like the thing is that we had such a large crash yesterday. I don't think we're gonna have a flash crash in the same way that we did yesterday. And because of yesterday, it's like it's gonna end up being minimal. That's my thought. Are you still in ARK Buzz and LLM? I'm not in LLM. I haven't been in that in a while. It dropped below what I wanted like a while ago. ARK and Buzz, yes. I'm actually actively in ARK. I'm not actively in Buzz. ARK's the only one that I'm actively in of all those coins that I've talked about. But you can see a lot of them I sold out of because a lot of them are just down right now with the hype of, again, the Trump token and MELANIA and stuff like that. Like that's where the money is. I still love ARK long term. I'm still holding some. Obviously, I have 16K pool here, and on my other wallet as well, I have some, and so I am still holding it some, just not as much as I normally would. You can see I got a bunch in Sol USDC because Sol USDC has been earning between like 5 and 8% a day, and so it'd be stupid not to be in that. Even with the large up and downs, I just rebalance it as needed, and yeah. Oh yeah. So Rich King, the guy who runs Ultra LP, that tool I was just telling you, messaged me, and he said that they're working on pushing out an update right now, which is why it's not up because of everything that happened last night and the blockchain getting overloaded, and so they're pushing out an update, which is why it's down right now, and they're switching some of their API reliance and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, he messaged me to say that. Let's see. Do you always do spot in a close range in the Cuba trade? No, I don't always do spot. I actually probably, I'd say like half the time I may be doing spot, and the other half I'm like mixing it up and doing either one sided or two sided. It depends on where it catches. So like whenever you look at the range here, let me show you this. So like when I was looking at Cuba, you can see like tokens move and they moved up or down, and then they create a new range, and then they'll move up or down, and then they create a new range. And that's kind of like what they generically do. So you can see here, like Cuba had a huge pump, it dumped back down, but you can see here it created a range, and you can see this line, like it bounced off of here twice, and you can see the top line. So it kind of ranged, but at one point you can see it then broke out of that range, and it created a new higher range, which is what it's in here. So I bought the token here, and you can see it's almost directly middle of the range when I got in. A lot of times I'll wait for it to come down, but you can see it was creating new highs and new lows. And so when I bought in here, I bought it on a slight dip coming up. And so I thought it might continue up. I wasn't sure, but I told myself, you know what? I'm at the middle of its range. I'm okay getting in here. If it breaks down too low, I'll sell. But if it stays within this range, that's a good sign. And so I just bought middle of the range. And that's exactly what it's done. You can see it actually came up a little bit higher before coming back down, but it's just been ranging here. So that's why I created it in a spot, because I expected it to come up and down from where I was entering. Now, if I bought down here or down here off of a bounce, I would have set up a one-sided of the Cuba token only. And just because I would have expected it to be at the bottom of the range, so I would expected it to be more up, even if it was going up and down. I still expected it to be higher than where I entered at. So that's where I do a one-sided. And then same thing on the top side. If I get in and I see it bounce off of something here and start to come down, I'll just create a one-sided soul pull. And then as it comes down, again, I'm going to be in range the whole time. And even as it comes up, I'll be in range until it finally breaks back out. And so it kind of depends on where it's at and the range that I'm looking at on the token, if that makes sense. I just bought 15 Soul of Melania right here. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a gamble on this a little early. The lines haven't crossed, but you can see it's starting to weaken here, looking like it might swap back up. Now it could come back down a little bit before it comes back up, but I'm taking a little bit of a gamble there on Melania. So I just bought 15 Soul worth, and which I know for some is a lot. For me, it's a small part of the portfolio, and so you can see I bought close down here as well, similarly, and so. Yeah, we'll see. Baron's still doing pretty good. Let's check out. Oh yeah, we had closed the Baron pool, so we were looking for it to come up, and it's technically creating higher highs and higher lows. We'll see if it continues with that. It does look like if you look on the MACD here that it's slowing a little bit, but it could pick back up. So we'll keep watching to see if at some point we'll sell this. We've got 21 Soul worth here. And so we'll sell it and see, just kind of depending. Cuba's still doing pretty good. Cuba's printing on the fees, dude. Insane fees. Yeah, we're at $1,500 in fees, and we only had, we entered with around 5,500 maybe in liquidity. I don't honestly remember, but we're just below center, and so I'd imagine it's around 5,500, and we've already earned $1,500 in fees. So obviously crazy there. Viswa Anbalagan. Hey, token guy, Gabriel from India. Hey, Gabriel, welcome. Glad you're here. I've been to Bengaluru or Bangalore, India before. Hello from the Netherlands. Mike, what's up, man? Barron and Trump just came out, so tall, he's blocking everyone behind him. Yeah, dude, Barron is stupid tall. I went into Trump one-sided with Trump, but went out of range. Is it possible to add? I'm still in range. You do have to exit and make a new pool. I would exit and make a new pool if that's what you're wanting to do. I only see 95% fees on the 125 bin for Cuba. Are you doing some kind of leverage? I'm not doing any sort of leverage. Depending on when you get in, it'll be different, right? Because this is showing the average 24 hours. So like, for instance, if I get into this and it were to get out of range for a while, well, I'm not earning anything when it's out of range. This number would drastically drop. And then when it came back into range, it would start to average out again. And so, like, I've been in this pool for a little while now. And so, like, maybe it's only earning 150% right now. It's just showing that I'm earning 600% on the average. And you can see it changes. So, like, if this number starts to dip a little bit, which you can see it is, it's starting to average down. Now, it's not dipping super fast. So, like, I think that I'm probably earning more than 150%. But yeah. What is your opinion? Oh, wait, any other tools to check profit or loss? That's the only one I know of as of now. There is like if you use Soul Decoder bot, that the bot itself will show you the live P&L for it, but that's only for it. It doesn't show you for other things. That's the only one I know of right now, which is why it's super useful. What is your opinion on USA coin? I saw it had a rug moment some months ago. I don't know about that, about the rug moment, but USA coin was doing pretty well earlier. I don't know what it's at now. Honestly, it's been so volatile. I've tried to stay away from it. I got in a few times, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, look how volatile this is. There's just been, I mean, it had like a massive rip up, a massive down, kind of sat for a while, big rip up. It's now like pushing down pretty hard. You can see like I had bought some, see how it says average price. Like I had bought some down here at some point. I don't think I bought it with Good Morning Good Night at the time. I'm not sure, um but yeah, it's too volatile for me right now. Like I like volatility, but this is way too much. I mean, this is literally like going from 270 million market cap all the way down to 45 million. Like, that's just too much. Trev, you absolutely crushed it this weekend. Congrats on the ups. Hey, thanks, man. I took the weekend off. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we were up pretty big before the downfall. But even with the downfall, we had already taken a lot of profits. Like when Trump was at 70, like something here, and it dropped all the way down, we had already like sold like 80%, maybe even 90% of what we had made. You can see here I like bought and sold some. I bought some more up here, not a lot. This is where like so at this point I'd already sold out of everything. I actually sold out of this. I sold some here, but the rest of it moved out on this move up. I had a really wide range DLMM, and so we ended up taking out all of our profits there, which is why it doesn't show a sell here. And then you can see I bought some here and I was DLMMing it on a 50 bin pool, and I earned a lot, like stupid amount in fees. And then when it dipped, I ended up obviously losing a lot there. But I would say like overall, it wasn't a massive loss because I knew that like it may do something crazy once it had gotten up here. And so I didn't put a lot of money into it here. And you can see then I sold down here after the dip and after it had come back up just a little bit. So but we were way up, but still doing pretty good overall. UFD is still a beast. Yeah, we were in UFD before the dip. I still like UFD as well as like one of the like maybe faster growers among the meme coins, not like the AI coins and stuff like that. But you can see again here, I bought some here and I sold some here. This was after the dip with Trump and everything like that. So I took a small loss on that. But a lot of what happened was a lot of the coins were dipping. And so I ended up just selling at small losses, and I rotated a lot of it into the other coins like Trump and MELANIA and stuff like that. And then ended up making back everything that I had lost off of these plus way more. What do you mean by rebalance? So basically you're just closing out of the pool. You're buying the new amount of tokens you want to use with the profits you've gained, and then you're setting up a new pool with a new range. On Good Morning, Good Night, I had to pay a 20% fee from auto fees last week. Do you limit? Yeah, I don't do auto. You can in my video on how to use Good Morning, Good Night on Twitter, I talk about this, but you can see here slippage. I have it set to 2%. Right now, I have priority fees at 0.1, but most of the time I have it set at 0.01. It was only at 0.1 yesterday because of all the fees and stuff like that, but I have it at like 0.01 here. You can adjust this based on the congestion, but I definitely don't let the auto slippage go on because look, even right now, it's showing 2.5. I just do 2. But yeah, I mean, it was like crazy high slippage numbers yesterday. So I don't let it do that. I'd rather the transaction just fail. I'm okay with a 1, 2, 3, even 4 or 5%, which is why I paid the fee to Good Morning Good Night for using the bot. And then also I'm okay with like a 2% slippage. But it doesn't, and also just so you know, like if it's 2% slippage, it doesn't mean that you're gonna lose 2% on the trade. It just means that's the max amount. But a lot of times it's actually much less than that. Sometimes you don't lose any at all. Sometimes it's like, 0.1, 0.5%, 1%, stuff like that. Are you in the 100 bin 1% in ARC? Probably. Let me double check. That's the pool. Well, no, I think I'm in the lower fee, but 100 bin step. Yeah, I'm in the 0.15% on ARC, 100 bin step. So I used to be in the 100 bin 1%, but ARC moves so much slower now, and this one's been earning slightly better on the fees. You can see I'm down on my pool right now. But it's still earning 3.85% a day. I expect like ARC and Grift and a lot of these tokens to bounce back. Yeah, ARC's doing good on volume right now. Cuba's still ranging fairly well. This is where I want it to stay above that line right there. MELANIA, you can see we bought in here. It does look like the MACD line is getting close to crossing here. We're on the 5-minute chart, which is why like it's probably already crossed on the 1 minute, but on the 5 minute is what we're looking at. Trump as well looks like it's about to cross and come back up potentially. We're not going to buy any more Trump. We already have some, but we're watching that as well. Is it safe to connect my wallet for DLMMing to Good Morning Good Night so I can also in the wallet? Yeah. I mean, Good Morning Good Night, it's a reputable site. They've been audited and everything. I've been using them for a while, so it's safe. Just make sure you're actually on the right site. Also, please use my referral code if you do. I've pulled this up before, but I appreciate it. I get a kickback on anything that y'all use whenever y'all do trade. And so if you'll use my referral code whenever you create it, because once you create it, I don't think you can go back in and add it later. So make sure you do that on the front end. Yeah, I have mine set to 1% and don't use auto. Yeah, it's good. Ultra LP, hey man, working on fixes now. Should be up soon. Thanks, I appreciate it, bro. They're on it. I love the Ultra LP guys. Obviously, the tool they're using is really great. Hash Eclipse, do you think Trump could say something that makes Trump coin pump? Definitely possible. Thinking of putting a position on Meteor if he says something about the coin. Yeah, I mean, you can see I have 10K on the LP here in Trump. With how volatile it's been, it could dump or pump. So, like, basically, my way of like mitigating risk on that is just not buying too much. Um, and so this is how much I have in it, and I'm willing to kind of risk whether it goes up or down. And I'm DLMMing, earning good fees right now, and so that's what I'm willing to do. I mean, this portfolio is like ranges a lot, but it's roughly 140K to 150K. So 10K for me is less than 10%. And so like it's like, 7% of my portfolio or whatever. And so I wouldn't use more than that. It's up to you. Again, you have to make that decision for yourself, like your risk tolerance. If you want to bet big on them, then you can. If not, then don't. Um, the inauguration is going to be happening in 18 minutes. And both volume on Melania and Trump have picked up a little bit, and both of them are looking like they might be starting to swing back up. So that's a good sign. We'll have to see what that looks like. Trump back to all-time high. Then I don't know about that, but maybe. Is Cuba your coin? No, no, it's definitely not my coin. So this is crazy. I don't know if y'all know this. Cuba created its own coin. Like literally, the government tweeted about it. The Cuban government tweeted, and then they rugged it. The Cuban government literally they created it and then they sold all the tokens. I don't know why. I don't know who did this, but they literally rugged it, and that's why it's doing well. Because people are basically like upset that that happened, and so they're like, because they sold, we're like, let's show them what they could have made. And now they're like, hey, we're gonna make more money than the whole Cuban government did. So it's kind of funny, but that's why I'm in it, because the Cuban government created a coin and then rugged it. But yeah, definitely not my coin. But the community picked it up and wanted it to do well. Do you have a code for Ultra LP? I don't. Maybe Ultra LP will give us a few codes that we can give out on stream here. But until then, I don't. They've been pretty selective about it, which makes sense because they're still stress testing it. It's still in beta. They want to make sure that they don't get too many people in at once. When could be an entry on Sol again? I mean, I'm like constantly have a bunch of Solana. The way that I view it, like look, I have $63,000 on the Sol USDC pool, and it's earning me like close to 5% a day. Like 63K, 5%, that's $3,000 a day, right? Like that's some people's salary on the year. On just Sol USDC. But the thing is that the value of this can go up and down, right? As Sol goes up and down. But the way that I view it is like, I'm not worried about if it goes up or down because I'm just collecting the fees and trying to gain more and more Solana because I believe Solana will be $500 by the end of this year, right? That's kind of my expectation. It could be lower, it could be higher, but that's kind of what I think. And so in that regard, I'm not really worried about the overall value. I collect the fees and then just roll it back into this to keep compounding. And then as Sol goes up, I'll earn more and more. And so for me, like if it goes down, I earn more Sol. And then I'll just close the pool, rebalance it. And if it goes up, well, now the TVL has gone up. I'll just close it, rebalance it, right? So I'm just constantly rebalancing it. And then you could also allow like a program like HawkFi, which is really great as well, to rebalance it for you. They do take 8% of the fees from your profits. So that's the only downside, but they do have the automated system set up to auto compound your fees and rebalance the pool for you, which is pretty cool. There's a few other people that are trying to build some different stuff like this out. And so we'll see what that looks like. I know the Orbit team is looking at setting that up to where their Orbit AI agent, can do that. I really love Orbit. Their token is the Griff token, which I'm actually going to buy some right now. I think some of these coins that are down, like ARC, which I've been doing, and then Grift end up doing well. And so, oops, that's my good morning, good night code, not the Grift token address. We're going to do the 80 bin 0.8% here. And basically, what I'm going to do here is I bought the grift. I want to just run this up. And so what I did was I did half of it in spot, and I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to add the other half to the position once it's finished creating, and I'm going to do it in bid ask, and it'll create this hybrid pool of bid ask and spot, which allows me to start earning fees right away, but also puts most of my liquidity towards the end of the position, so that I'll sell out more later. And so this is a way of DCAing out of the token, making good money on it, but also not making it to where you're not really earning fees right away. So the position's created right here. So now I'm going to go and put the rest. I did half in the beginning. Now I'm doing the rest, and I'll do bid ask. And so it creates this hybrid model. Whereas if I just did bid ask, it would be almost nothing here, but it'd be way more at the end. And if I did just spot, it would just be straight across. So this is kind of a hybrid spot bid ask pool here. And I'm just going to set it on the way up. Could it come down? Yes, but I'm fine if it like just letting it ride up. I do think that it hit a pretty significant support here. And with Solana, I think starting to do better, stuff starting to strengthen, I think we see this start to come back up. Cuba's been dribbling kind of right here around the area that I don't want to see it drop below too much. So we'll see what it does. Baron's been sitting sideways really, really well. I kind of wish I was DLMMing this. I'm just holding it right now. I could have just kept holding, kept the position open, but we'll just keep waiting. And at any point we can sell this. We're roughly at a break even right now because of the fees we earned on the way down. And because we closed out here, we literally closed out at 32, 33 million market cap. And now we're up to 45. So that's pretty solid. Is Cuba hated boss? You have why don't you claim your fees and reinvest as you go? I do, Melon. I just don't do it like every hour. I normally do it like a few times a day. Hello from Montenegro. One question: when token pumps like Trump on Saturday, what is best tactic to enter high volume, big market cap, not slowing down, only going up? Yeah, it's hard to know that, Aiko, like when to get into something that's just like constantly ripping up. I would say like there's still dips that happen. So like for instance, you can see here when it was ripping up, Trump was like there's still dips that happen. And so once the token hits a new high and then dips, you wait for the dip, and then once it looks like it's starting to build back up, then you buy in there. That way you're still catching it on the way up. You see a dip here, you could buy in here, so on and so forth. So catch it in the dips, even though it's like continually going up, there's still dips in between, and that'd be a good time to get in. Of course, you just have to be careful because nothing goes up forever, as we can see. And so as it goes up, at some point it will come down and not come back up to where it was. So you just kind of have to measure your risk on that. But it's usually good to get in like that. Cuba, come on, Cuba. This is the final support here. We're probably at the lower end of our range. Let's see. Barron's doing decent. Melania is starting to come back up, which is good. Trump as well. Cuba's killing me here. I mean, we've earned $1,700 in fees. So like we're still in profit on this position, even though it's down like this, because again, we were in at like 5,500. So we're down like maybe 5,600. We're down like $200 roughly on the value, but you can see we're up $1,700 in fees. And so, we're still in profit, but obviously like we'd like to be in more profit from it going up. But the hard part here is that it's testing a support here. But look at the MACD. Like this MACD just swapped to this. And so we'd have to see a pretty drastic change in the sell pressure here for it to bounce off of this. Otherwise, it's likely going to keep going down. But the RSI is at 31, so low, which is showing that it's like the value of it basically the price to value ratio is like pretty significant. Like it's a very good buy, essentially, is what this RSI is saying. But that doesn't mean that it won't go lower. So we'll just watch this closely and see. Baron looks like it might be breaking back up here, which is pretty good. So still just watching them right now. Also, someone had asked, like, why don't I claim my fees? I do, but also like in a pool that I'm potentially about to close, like Cuba, like there's no point in me claiming these fees and then putting them back into the pool than to just close the pool again. And so it just kind of depends. Like Sol USDC, I claimed this morning already. So I'll let this build up a little bit more and then I'll claim them at some point. Same on ARC, Trump, all of these I'll claim soon. I just haven't done that yet. We are seeing a pretty good shift here, so it might be bouncing. It's a good sign. We'll keep holding. Um, you need a Binance listing for Melania. Yeah, it could be pretty good. Is Cuba coin a good entry? I would say it's not. And the reason why is because we don't know whether it's going to continue down yet. So I would say that if Cuba breaks back, I'm clicking the line. Let me click it. Bro, what is this? I'm literally clicking on the line. There we go. If it breaks above here, then what it's going to do is it's going to show that it's now swapping trends and that it's going to be having new highs and potentially new lows. So that could be a good time. Basically wait for it to come up above here. It's then at some point going to dip again. And then once it's bouncing off that second dip after it's come up, then it would be a good time to get in. You could get in now. It's just riskier because just because it's starting to be green, again, like the high here could be lower than this previous high. And if that's the case, it's signaling it's still in a downtrend. And so we want to wait for that reversal. Oh, I'm tired. I do need to get off pretty soon. Today's going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. I'll probably have to get off in about 8 minutes from now. So let me see if I can pop through some of these questions. How did you begin learning how to DLM effectively? And do you have any advice for someone who's new and near broke? Seems so confusing. Hey, Alex, thanks, man. So I've been LPing for a while. So there's a site called Orca. And so Orca is liquidity market making. It's a CLMM. So they're the ones that started the concentrated liquidity market making on Solana. You also have Radium, which does liquidity market making. And so there's been liquidity market makers for a long time. And so that's what I used to use. And so whenever I swap to Meteora, theirs is the DLMM. So instead of it just being concentrated, which it still is, concentrated just means that you can adjust it. So before concentrated, you used to just put it into the pool and it would automatically be at the widest range, right? You're basically just spreading your money out across the whole thing. Everyone who put it in had the same range. Then the concentrated liquidity market making came in and obviously changed the game a lot to where you could concentrate it and make much more money that way, obviously at higher risk. And then dynamic liquidity market making came in, which basically is similar to the concentrated form of it, but it's dynamic. So the fees change, right? So even though I'm in a 5% fee on Trump, depending on if the market is very dynamic, the volume's very high, this 5% here will actually go up. It's currently at 5%, so it didn't go up. Let me look at Cuba. So Cuba's at 5%, but you can see here the dynamic fee actually makes the fees people are paying 7.6%. And so they're paying higher fees than the 5% because it's dynamic. Also, the way that they do the bid steps and the pools is more efficient than a traditional one. And so it just works a little bit different. But I've been doing this because of me doing the other liquidity market making. I had learned how to do that a while back. So transitioning to this was fairly easy, but I basically learned about tokenomics, liquidity, market making, just all that kind of stuff from YouTube. Honestly, there's a guy, I forget his account, but he's like he does like little art and like talks about it. It's like a little turtle. Someone might know what I'm talking about, but I originally started seeing a lot of his stuff to learn just like what market makers were, what liquidity providing was, stuff like that. So I've watched a ton of those videos and then obviously just using it and kind of getting an idea for it that way. So I've been doing it for like 2 years now. And I first used Meteora earlier last year, but I didn't use it a ton because just the volume and stuff wasn't as high. The profit wasn't as good. And I was doing other things to make money. And then about 4 months ago is whenever I really got into it and have been doing really, really well. Um, so, any advice for you? I would say just start small, try to get a good gauge for it, learn as much as you can, and then take profits. Always take profits. So don't look for like the massive 3, 4, 5x or whatever. Just take profits where you can and keep compounding. How are you going to play that 50 Sol in Melania? I'm going to keep holding this, and if it keeps going up, then I'm going to keep holding it. And then at some point, when it looks like it's like it might go up and come down a little bit, and then go up and come down a little bit. But at some point, if it looks like it's going to make a big drawdown, then I'll close out the pool and I'll sell it and take profit. Cuba's dumping hard, so we're going to close out of Cuba, and we'll just. It looks like at this point, with how low it's gotten, I kind of forgot to keep watching it. It looks like it might keep dropping as well. I'm just going to go ahead and sell it, and we'll just basically be close to break even on this. we sold it. I assume I sold all of it. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, there we go. So we collected a bunch of fees. We sold out here. We might have been at a slight loss or close to break even on it, which is perfectly fine. Again, like you want to make sure you hold pretty firm to this. Obviously, I'm talking to y'all like as some of y'all know, like I sacrifice some because I'm doing these live streams. I do sacrifice some of the profits or reduce losses that I'm going to take. Obviously, it takes time to talk to y'all. I'm not able to be like hyper aware and on these. But it's good to have take losses and stop losses. Sorry, and take profits and stick to those. Don't just ride stuff out forever. I don't care if this does pump back up and goes all the way up to here, right? Like that doesn't bother me because all I can do is stay strict to my standards. Because by doing that, I'll always keep making more money. I won't always win, but when I lose, I try to reduce that as much as possible, which is why I like DLMMing. Because like if you were to buy if I would have bought here and then I would have held and then sold here, I'd be at a huge loss. But because I DLMM'd it the whole way, I made a ton in fees, which offset the value of this going down, which is the benefit of getting into a coin that has high volume and generates more fees like this. Baron's doing good. So we're seeing Baron break out here. Also, the fees that I earn on these pools and stuff obviously go towards the Meteora airdrop and more Met points. So even if I'm breaking even, it's still a win in the end. Do you have a Discord channel? Yeah, I do. You can check out my Twitter, and it's in there. I also posted it in the chat earlier. Actually, on YouTube, it's in the description. You can go to my Discord. It's just discord.gg/token guy. From where are you reading comments, Actor? I'm reading them on both YouTube and Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, you're not going to see all of the ones. And if you're on YouTube, you're not going to see all the ones. I'm reading from both. Can you explain how you rebalance if it goes below or above your range? Do you sell the tokens and put SOL back in? Yeah, so honestly, I don't do a ton of rebalancing like on the Cuba pool that we were just in. I'll just close it and I'm not worried about it. If later on it looks like it's a good spot to get back in, I might, but I'm not trying to rebalance there. Usually on larger market cap stuff like potentially MELANIA TRUMP, I might do it, or ARC or something, I might. But for the most part, like if I'm only rebalancing on like SOL USDC. And yeah, so what I would do is if it goes to the bottom of the range, if it comes out the bottom here, then I'll have all Solana. So what I'll do is I'll sell half the Solana for USDC and then I'll create a new range. If it goes up to the top, same thing. I'll close it. I'll have all USDC. So I'll sell half the USD for Solana and then create a new range. But what you don't want to do, you can take a lot more loss if this ends up moving way out of the range on either side and then you're rebalancing, because the last point in which you like let's say it goes up, the last point in which you sold your Solana was at like let's say 274 right here. But if the price of SOL is now 280 and you're buying, you sold your last SOL at 274, but now you're buying it at 280, then if it comes back down, there's a big gap there. So you really want to close it out before it reaches these ends. I like the 95% area. That way you're always staying within range and there's not any gaps to increase the losses that you would take. We're at 6% right now on the 24-hour fee on this. Really, really good. SOL USDC is moving pretty good. Actor, you're earning 100% for deposit because how much time I tried, but I can't do this in Trump. I can't earn more there because just TBL just dropped and it was like 5 to 6%. Yeah, in Trump, we're only earning like 9% right now. It's not super high, but I kind of am expecting it to stay sideways or do fairly well. And so I'm okay with earning a lower percentage there. What is your range on SOL USDC? I use the default 20 bin step range, which is roughly 28% down and 40% up, which would put it between 239 and 274. Yeah, yesterday was insane. Hash Eclipse. Recommended to get on Ultra LP. Yeah, Baz, if you can get on it for sure. Why not DeFi Tuna with the SOL USDC pair? So I love DeFi Tuna, but DeFi Tuna uses leverage. So like you can earn way more, but it's also slightly more risky. And so right now, with just the massive swings, we've seen Sol go from 250 to 295, and then all the way back down to 240, and now it's up to 254. And so, like, on DeFi Tuna, it's just a little more risky with that to lose money. And so I'm just being careful and just doing it on Meteora. But as things start to settle down a little bit, then I'll go back to using DeFi Tuna because I can use that leverage to earn more fees. So like Meteor is the main thing that I do. Obviously, I do other things as well, but stuff like DeFi Tuna, or even if I use HawkFi, things like that, like I do that kind of just depending on what the market looks like and what's going on. Would you be able to touch on how to leverage positions? That's on DeFi Tuna. I don't have time now because I do have to go. I actually have a birthday party that I'm going to in like 20 minutes, and so I need to leave and get my kids and everything together to be able to head out. And so I won't be able to do that right now, but I do have a whole DeFi Tuna thing on my Twitter. Again, like if y'all check my Twitter, like I have the good morning, good night stuff here with my referral code. Please use that. I have all my different streams on here as well as on YouTube. And then I also have a DeFi Tuna on YouTube and on Twitter. I posted both of them on, yeah, both on YouTube and Twitter or on X. So you can go look and see those there. I have all my content on there. So like there's plenty of good info that you can find. But yeah, you can go check that out. I don't, unfortunately don't have time to do it right now though. Baron is absolutely ripping. Let's go, Baron. Our pool may even be. Oh wait, we didn't have a pool. That's right. Let's just sell this for a massive profit. So this is cool. Sorry, we'll sell here. Done. Sold. See, that's why I like good morning, good night. I literally just instantly sold this. If I were to go to Jupe and try to sell, it might take a while. I saw that it was starting to dip again, so that's why I sold. But look, I bought in here and I sold it at the same price I bought in for. The thing is that I bought in here and then I set up a two-sided position. So my soul was buying more Baron on the way down, and then I closed it out here, and then it rode back up and I sold it higher. So I actually made probably made a pretty good chunk of profit right there because the initial amount I bought, which was about 3K, I sold back where it was. But the other 3K of Solana, I bought it on the way down and then I sold it up here. So I probably made like an extra like 1,500 to 2,000 off of that. It's good to see. Cuba did bounce back up, by the way. Could keep going, but again, we took our loss. MELANIA is just chilling right now. Not sure where it's going to go. I'm going to be watching MELANIA and Trump. Oh wait, inauguration is happening now. I need to go check that out as well. And we're going to continue to hold Grift and ARC as well. Grift we have on the way up. It did dip below that, and that's why it's showing that it's out of range because, which is fine. Again, like I bought it in here. I'm happy to sell it higher than this. If it sits out of the range for a little while before coming back up, that's totally cool. I'm just going to leave it like this and let it run. Let me knock out these questions. I have to go. You think it's good? 3 positions, a bid ask 20. I don't do the multi 20 bin step pools. I know some people like that, but that's not what I do. Leia Buddha, I'm not sure what your question is. You'd have to rephrase that. How do you set up stop orders for spot buys? You can do that on Good Morning, Good Night. You literally, let's say I wanted to buy some MELANIA where it's at now. Right here, underneath the buy, there's a TP and SL. And so you have a take profit. Let's say if I go up 20%, I want to take profit, or I go down 20%, I want to do a stop loss. Then you can see here that I would just buy it, and then it would set it up, and then it would auto sell for me if it ever hit one of those ranges. It's a really, really cool tool on Good Morning, Good Night. So yeah, you can do that as well. The dynamic part of Meteor are fees gained from them lending money out to other protocols, automatically sending fees to users. What do you think will happen to the Trump token in the next few hours? Continue to go sideways? I'm honestly not sure. I think worst case scenario, it continues sideways, could come down a little bit, could go up a little bit. Trump is officially the president. Yeah, he is. Check out Floor prediction on what happens to Sol from Trump inauguration. I think it probably goes down initially a little bit, but then I think it probably goes back up over the long haul. Check out Flork. I have no idea what Flork is. It looks like weird. It has terrible volume. I wouldn't DLMM it. I thought you said you weren't LPing Baron. I'm not. I was earlier. I bought in and I LP'd it, and then as it came down, I closed out of the pool, and then I was holding it. And when it came back up, I just sold what I was holding. They swore me in 4 minutes ago. Hey, awesome, man. Look, I try not to be, like, super political. I do lean slightly more conservative with my values and stuff like that, but, Trump's not, like, my favorite, but you'll see me, like, bull posting the heck out of Trump. Why? Well, because he's pro crypto. Like, I'm pro crypto. My whole life is around crypto, and he's the most pro crypto president, and this is the most pro crypto administration we've ever seen, right? Like, I would have picked other people before Trump, like, but ultimately, like, him being in there is good for business, if you would. It's good for me, right? It's good for all of us in crypto, which I think is good for our future. And so that's why I talk about it. That's why I'm excited about it. So yeah, y'all just keep watching. Like you can see here, I think Melania and Trump both are dipping a little bit right now, which I think again makes sense. It's kind of the sell the news thing. I might even sell some off. We'll see. But watch this because if it dips too much, obviously that could affect some things. I do think they'll end up bouncing back at some point though. So we'll just have to keep watching and see. Um, but yeah, best of luck, everybody. I am going to go ahead and hop off. I sold that Melania that I just bought because it doesn't look like it's going to go up, and it's right where I bought it at. And then we'll potentially keep DLMing some as well, and then go from there. So anyway, best of luck, everybody. I do have to hop off. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll be back on Wednesday. And I also have a guest coming on for that as well. You can always keep up with everything we do in our Discord or on our Twitter. Again, y'all have a good one. Have a great day. See y'all.